Adewale is my name. National S official 2. Adewale, yes sir. National S official 2.
Mine is 7580.
Mine is 6872, sir.
Adeolu Yekon is my name, sir. I'm the General Secretary, 1991-97 set.
I'm Lee again. I'm the National PRO, 82-87 set.
My name is Gabriel Ogunmola.
Okay.
I entered the school in 1954 and passed out in 58.
Okay.
We were one of the first sets to offer science and in the school certificate as full subject, and we excelled. In our class, we were not sure. We didn't even have enough teachers to teach us. We were supposed to go to Ijebu to be taught by physics and things like that. But we scaled through. Came out with distinctions. Classmate was Julie, the two of us that had distinctions. Julie is late now. But my other classmate, the Lisa Binjogun Gunlaja.
Okay.
Many of those. Like I have a list of roll out. That's how I entered University of Ibadan and did my first degree. And when I finished, I followed it up by my second degree continuously. And came out with a PhD. And I finished my PhD program on the 30th of June, 1968. And I resumed duty in the department on July 1, 1968. So, and that's how I spent a lifetime, and from there all over the world. We went to Philadelphia as a postdoc, a professor at Princeton, and a professor at Minneapolis. I was spending some sabbatical year at Berkeley, and then at Stanford and so on. And came back. I have been developing the university and became head of the department and became the dean of the faculty and so on and so forth. And in it, eventually became the president of the Academy of Science of this country. The little story that made RSS so spectacular in my own life, which I think also in the lives of many of us, was that we didn't have a secondary school in Remo. So people would go to Lagos or Abeokuta. And we, at that time, our great grandfather felt it was an insult for us to be going to Ijebu grammar school. And they insisted that they wanted a school for their children. But they couldn't afford to build two schools because they wanted to do it by their own effort. So, and yet they want to train both their boys and their girls. So they said they would build a school that's a secondary school for boys and girls together. And the government then said it's not possible. They're not going to allow it. And obstinately they did. by the sheer effort of the people. It was the rounding up of the Anglican Church, the community, the Methodist Church, and the Muslim. Adedoyin represented the community as the king.
As the king there.
Yes, then later by Adedoyin. And then Fallowday represented the Anglican Church as a priest, there. And then the Methodist Church, I remember, Reverend Melo represented the Methodist Church. And Elijah Rufai, if I remember.
Ogunjimi.
Ogunjimi represented it. And that's how they did it. And that's how the school was formed. Yeah. The beginning was rough. They were really very obstinate. Simple school, Alago, and that school was founded in 1893. Okay, when the colonial people came, and Remo said, "No problem. Let's sit down and talk. What do you want?" And they said they brought a protectorate, and okay, they explained it to the king, and the king then was Uyebajo, and that's why that street was named Uyebajo. And he then said, "Okay, fine. These are things I want: school for my children." And they said they needed land. He said, in front of his house. So that's where many of the great names, grew up. And our parents were assiduous in assisting the growth of education and knowledge. That is the heritage of us now. Well, as I was growing up, a little child, my mother didn't go to school, and yet she raised a person like me. How did she do it? The only thing she knew was when the moon comes on, she would spread the mat in front of the house. I would lie down and be gazing at the moon. And she was telling me the story of the man in the moon. And the story was very constant and very repetitive every time. That is her fun. Telling me the man on the moon, protecting every child so that you're not out and all the like and so. I was just fascinated by that. So when I entered Remo Secondary School, we had lesson in physics, and our teacher was Mr. Ogunmola. What did Mr. Ogunmola say? He said, "You must be bright. You must be good. Okay? I'm going to take the best student to the moon." Connected with my mother's moon life story.
You were excited.
And I became. So our first lesson then was on mensuration. Length, breadth, width, and so on. And he then passed around the vernier calipers for measuring length, small length to small dimension. It's the only one in the school. It was made in metal. And we slide it, and she showed us what. And I went home and came back to the school with a Vena car which was made in cardboard.
Wow.
And when I presented it to him, he looked at it, he slided it and used it to measure, and he became hysterical. Now, he's promised to take the best student to the moon. I had somebody who was challenging him. What is it? It's so he went to the principal, announced it, and of course, the slightest thing in the school, there is a school assembly. So when the principal then said they didn't know what to do, and said, okay. So the first, what I then earned was that I was then exempted from all manual labors. But I'm just again telling you the type of excitement and liveliness with which we are brought up. So, and then when my classmates now goes to cut grass, I was now in the lab, and I started toying around with everything in the lab. I mean, I know how to set up the balances inside the cage and all the like. And that was when I set up the Western differential pulley on that pool. And when I visited the school some time ago, I still met it there the way it was, and I was just laughing. The reason was that there is a hole in which we put the Western pulley. But I didn't have any thought to use. So I took 2 tripod stands, one this way, one this way, to hold the chain. And that therefore created in me the curiosity to learn. That's how I got out of it. And when the last year of Awolowo came to the school, I was in end of 58. And he advised us that agriculture is the future of the country, and that we should all embrace agriculture. And immediately left. The principal of School of Agriculture in Obodo, Mr. Redhead, came, and they just recruited all of us Emmas. That's how we got our first job. And when I came back to Sagamu, Duncan Shotubo was starting his school, the Muslim high school. And he got to know I was in Sagamu, and he recruited me. So I became a PP teacher. And so I spent a year waiting to go to do my HSC. RSS didn't have a space in there, so we didn't know. So at the end of that year, I finished everything I needed. I was ready, and I was admitted to Abeokuta Grammar School for my HSC. Then, while we were writing applications to where to go, we sent some applications to federal government, and they just gathered some of us who sent an application wanting to be in the ministry. And they were going to start a science school where they would prepare the young ones in science, engineering, and so on and so forth, in a school called Emergency Science School. And I just woke up one day, got a letter that I've been admitted to the school. And what was it? Went there and found out. And what was the condition? We were to go to school and we were to be paid the same salary as our colleagues who are in the civil service, and ours is just to read. And so I spent 2 years there, and that's paid for by the federal government. And when we finish, I already have my A-level direct entry into the University of Ibadan. Federal government scholarship followed it, and that's life. And that's how I entered University of Ibadan and did my first degree. And when I finished, I followed it up by my second degree continuously. And came out with a PhD. And I finished my PhD program on the 30th of June, 1968. And I resumed duty in the department on July 1, 1968. So, and that's how I spent a lifetime, and from there all over the world. We went to Philadelphia as a postdoc, a professor at Princeton, and a professor at Minneapolis. I was spending some sabbatical year at Berkeley, and then at Stanford, and so on. And came back. I have been developing the university and became head of the department and became the dean of the faculty and so on and so forth. And in it, eventually became the president of the Academy of Science of this country. And after I retired, I established a research institute of my own, which continued to do science and research. And then the opportunity to create Lead City University came. The proprietors and all of them heard my name and wanted me to be part of their growth. And they came and I asked them questions. If you just want to build another university, I'm not interested. But if you want to do something that will improve what we already have, let's do it. And I said, that's what we want to do. So I've been with Lead City University in the last 20 years. First as the chairman board of trustees and later as the chancellor. The chancellor now for 18 years. So
I want to thank God once again for Remo Secondary School, Shagamu. We want to thank God for the life of our forefathers. That though not all of them were all that educated, but they were inquisitive, they were determined that what they didn't have, their children must have it. We thank God for their lives. The seed they sowed then is germinating. So we thank God for that. That Remo Secondary School is in the limelight. What people feared then, that what will happen, putting male and female learners together, what will happen? It hasn't happened before. Yeah. So they dare it and put their lives on the line. That was what our forefathers did.
Yes.
They put their lives on the line. Because even if you don't say it, I am sure those people at the helms of affairs then must have asked our fathers then to append their signature.
Yes, that's correct.
That this thing will work.
Yeah.
But thank God, it's worked.
Yeah.
It not only worked, it is still working now. So we want to say thank God for Remo Secondary School Shagamu. The seed is germinating and is still growing. We also learned from your story and experience now, your life story now, that parents, they have great impact
Yes,
on their children.
very.
It now lies on individual parents whether their impact is positive or negative. But yours is positive.
When I first sent you that message, I was hoping that maybe in some 2-3 days I would get a response. But what I got was a direct call. And I was just like, wow, okay. So this is my lucky day. I've been personally inspired. And getting here, interacting with you today shows that we took the very right decision to come here, learn from your experiences, and also identify with you. So we are very much grateful, sir, for welcoming us. The seed was planted at a point, and then now we are seeing the multiple branches. From the bit of history that you have narrated, it's evident that some persons were our pathfinders in ensuring that we rally the old students together for good causes that we impart RSS. In fact, if you enter our secretariat now, the picture of Professor Ludi Shodipo is one of those that you see on the wall as one of the past presidents of the association. So the current president is the 12th. And then since we came on board, starting from 2022, we've been trying to rebuild the association, make it more inclusive to ensure that more members of the Old Student Association have a sense of belonging, and that through that we can all rally together towards that common purpose of impacting the school, such that we will be able to produce more giants who will also come and build on the legacies that we will be able to leave behind.
The structure of the old students, because I was in Ibadan chapter for many years, and I work with Shodipo, Odumuye, Lawal Sholari, and things like that. And I mean, we were doing, but I saw the conflict among them, which was just conflict for power. That is what either has divided us or didn't allow us to mobilize. And I hope that there will be, it's maybe now we should form a Remo Students Foundation.
Okay.
So that there is a foundation above that will be committed into doing certain things. So all meetings and we handle at the association level, class sets and things like that, where you're either loyal to your class set and you're not loyal to the main body and all the like. That is really what has not allowed us to go. Maybe if we all then come to go and meet at a foundation level, that foundation would then be doing things, and you'll be surprised. What people can do. The object of the foundation is openness, is trustee, and all that. That's the way nations are built. And I think that to me, you look like a major part. And the foundation itself can have even its own officers whose duty is they will be reporting to the association for that's the highest body. And they will have people whose daily duty is to solve problems. That's really. You may be inspired to will your estate to the foundation because of what I mean, the Stanford that I went to, I didn't apply to go to Stanford. I just finished my duty as dean, and I got a letter from Stanford. What happened? One, Paul Berg won a Nobel Prize in chemistry for translating the work they do into useful products and services. So he used to go and have dinner with the owner, the man who used to make the Beckman instrument. So Beckman then one day then said, Paul, what will you do with $100 million? And Paul Berg then said, I'll come back to give you a proposal. And that's how the proposal for the Beckman Institute was sent to Beckman. And Beckman then gave them that money and said that they must bring in knowledge from all over the world and translate them into not just knowing, doing something.
Okay, sir.
So I got a letter from Paul Berg, and knowing of your work on the sickle cell, we will be delighted if you will be able to join with us in our effort to be able to translate your work into services. That's how I went to Stanford. Okay? So a foundation like that, so can attract money, can attract resources, can attract land, can attract many things. Inspiring because all of us who went through that school with an experience, there is a desire in our heart to give.
The story of RSS is the story of inclusivity, that he will prefer that 10 people will bring 1 million than for one person to be given 10 million. And so that's the reason why we feel that we must touch all the nooks and crannies to ensure that we get the best in terms of ideas and resources that will sustain this school, because we can't be there forever. Our tenure will lapse, just like you have said. Unless we have something like a trusteeship or a foundation, even all the good things that we think we are building within this short time will disappear. So, so it's a great one. So
Yeah, we are excited to hear you speak to us. We are excited because of your passion for Remo Secondary School. We are excited because we have someone of note in your person. And we are excited about the record you set in Remo Secondary School. And just like we said, we would like to have you someday speaking to current students in the school.
I'll gladly do
In the
that.
assembly hall.
I'll gladly do
Early
that.
enough in the assembly, on the assembly ground,
Yeah.
so that you can travel back to your base for other transactions. I would like to say thank you so much.
Well, I should thank you.
Thank you so much.
You've taken the trouble to be here, and I feel elated by that.
Àgbáyé àtúbọ̀dálẹ̀ òṣàlẹ̀ ìní.
Thank you.
Ẹ̀ẹ́dàgbà ẹ̀ẹ́dògbò. Iṣu ọmọ tí iná kún yín ẹ máa jẹ́ pẹ̀lú agbára náà kò ní kó lẹ́nu yín kó wa jẹ̀pẹ́. Bí ẹ ṣe máa ràn wá lọ́wọ́ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ 80th anniversary wa yìí àti bí association bó ṣe máa dúró dáadáa ni ó ṣe pàtàkì sí wa. Hence we have come. In fact, for this 80th anniversary, we are updating our compendium. You know, we had compendium for 40th anniversary.
Yes.
We have for 50th. We have for 70th. So we want to have for 80th. So a dẹ̀ fẹ́ kí how do I put it? We want to have something there.
Yes, you want him to
Perhaps about yourself, and àwọn nǹkan míì tí ẹ fi pé ó lè ṣe wá lóore, so that a lè jẹ́ nǹkan tí a máa refer sí ní ọjọ́ iwájú nínú compendium yẹn. So bóyá kẹ́ bá work towards ìyẹn náà sir.